I still remember the first time I saw that 1969 Chevrolet Camaro SS sitting in a scrapyard when I was 19 years old. The navy blue paint was faded and rusted, but I saw potential where others saw junk. I spent the next 5 years of weekends and sweat restoring her. I rebuilt the engine with my own hands, repainted every inch, redid the interior from scratch. That car was not just a vehicle. It was proof that I could build something beautiful through my own effort without relying on anyone. But when I came home after 6 months working in Montana, my Camaro was gone from the garage, and I was about to discover a truth that would shatter me. Before I tell you what happened next, I want to know, where are you watching from? Have you ever had someone in your family betray your trust? Hit that like button if you have ever worked years for something only to have it taken away. And subscribe, because what I discovered about where my car ended up and what my brother really did with that money will shock you. Now let me take you back to the day I came home. I pulled up to my parents' house in a rental car from the airport, my heart racing with excitement to see my Camaro again. 6 months is a long time to be away from something you love. I had been working on a construction project in Billings, Montana. The work was brutal, 12-hour days under the scorching sun. But the pay was excellent. Every month I sent $500 home to my parents to help them out. Dad had retired from the factory 2 years ago, and Mom only worked part-time at the grocery store. I knew money was tight for them. During those 6 months away, I texted my parents, constantly asking about the car. Is she running okay? Any issues with the engine? Did you start her up like I asked? Every single time they replied the same way. The car is fine, sitting pretty in the garage. Do not worry. I even specifically told them, do not let Kyle anywhere near it. My older brother had a history of borrowing my things and returning them broken, if he returned them at all. When I was 16, he borrowed my bike and left it out in the rain until it rusted. When I was 20, he took my laptop without asking and spilled coffee all over the keyboard. I parked the rental in the driveway and noticed the garage door was closed. That was odd. I usually left it cracked open for ventilation. Mom and Dad came out to greet me, but something felt off immediately. Mom's smile did not reach her eyes. Dad would not look directly at me. They both seemed tense, their shoulders tight, their movements awkward. I barely hugged them before I headed straight for the garage. My hands were shaking as I lifted the door. The space was empty except for some old boxes and yard tools pushed against the walls. Where my Camaro should have been, there was only a faint oil stain on the concrete floor marking where she used to sit. The air left my lungs. My vision blurred at the edges. This could not be real. I turned around slowly. Where is my Camaro, Mom? Started crying immediately. Dad just stood there staring at his shoes. The silence stretched out for what felt like hours, but was probably only seconds. Where is my car? I asked again, my voice barely above a whisper. My throat felt tight, like someone was choking me. Frank, my father, finally spoke. We had to sell it, son. The words hit me like a punch to the stomach. For a moment I could not breathe. The world tilted sideways. You. What? My voice came out louder than I intended. Almost a shout. A neighbor walking their dog across the street looked over. Linda. My mother was sobbing now, words tumbling out between gasps. Kyle got into serious financial trouble, Ernest. He owed people money. Bad people. They came to the house and threatened him. We needed $22,000 immediately, or they were going to hurt him. We did not know what else to do. The bank would not give us a loan. Your father is retired, and I only make $9 an hour. We did not have a choice. They were going to hurt your brother. I felt dizzy. I had to lean against the garage door frame to keep from falling. That car was not yours to sell. It was mine. I built it with my own hands. Frank stepped forward, his hands raised like he was trying to calm a wild animal. You were so far away in Montana. We needed the money fast. We could not wait. So you stole my car. The car I spent 5 years restoring. 5 years of my life. I could feel tears burning in my eyes, but I refused to let them fall. Did you even try to call me? I've been sending you money every single month. Mom shook her head, still crying. It all happened so fast. The men came on a Tuesday. Kyle said he had until Friday to pay or else. We had 3 days, Ernest. 3 days. But I had been gone 6 months. 6 months of them lying to me every time I asked about my car. How much did you sell it for? My voice was cold, now detached. I felt numb. Dad would not meet my eyes. $18,000. The number made me want to vomit. I knew that car was worth at least $35,000 after all the restoration work. They had practically given it away. And for what? For Kyle. The same Kyle who had never held a job longer than 6 months. The same Kyle who had been bailed out by our parents, his entire adult life. Where is Kyle now? I asked through clenched teeth. Mom wiped her eyes with a tissue she pulled from her pocket. He is trying to get back on his feet. He is staying with a friend while he looks for work. I laughed, but there was no humor in it. Of course he is. Let me guess. I am supposed to just accept this. Supposed to smile and say it is okay that you sold the most important thing I ever built, because Kyle messed up again. Frank's voice took on a defensive tone. We are family, Ernest. Family helps each other in times of crisis. Family does not steal from each other. I shot back. Family asks. Family communicates. Family does not lie for 6 months. I took a deep breath, trying to control the rage bubbling up inside me. Where did you sell my car? Who has it now? They both hesitated. Mom looked at Dad. Dad looked at the ground. Tell me, I said quietly. Right now. Finally, Frank spoke. A man named Marcus Peterman bought it. He lives about 40 miles from here, out near the county line. He collects classic cars. I did not say another word. I turned and walked to the rental car. Behind me, I heard Mom calling out, Ernest, please. We were going to pay you back. We just needed some time to get the money together. Your father and I have been picking up extra shifts. I got in the car and slammed the door. Through the windshield, I could see them both standing there. Mom with her hand over her mouth, Dad with his shoulders slumped. I started the engine and drove away without looking back. My hands were gripping the steering wheel so tight my knuckles turned white. I could feel my heart pounding in my chest like it was trying to break through my ribs. I checked into a motel about 10 miles from my parents' house. There was no way I was staying under their roof. The room was small and smelled like stale cigarettes, but I did not care. I sat on the edge of the bed and stared at the wall for what must have been 2 hours, unable to process what had just happened. That night, I could not sleep. I lay on the scratchy motel sheets staring at the water-stained ceiling, replaying every moment in my head. My Camaro. My baby. The car I had poured my heart into for 5 years. Gone. Sold. Like it meant nothing. The next morning, I called Tony. We had been best friends since high school, and he now worked as a private investigator. If anyone could help me track down my car, it was him. Tony answered on the second ring. Ernest, man, I heard you were back in town. How was Montana? I need your help. I said, my voice flat. He must have heard something in my tone because his jovial attitude immediately shifted. What happened? I told him everything. When I finished, there was a long silence on the other end. Man, that is messed up. That is really messed up. Tony let out a low whistle. All right, give me the buyer's name and 2 days. I will find out everything about this Marcus Peterman guy and exactly where your car is. 2 days later, Tony called me back. I was sitting in a diner pushing eggs around my plate without eating when my phone buzzed. Got everything you need, Tony said. Marcus Peterman, 52 years old, owns a small farm outside of town. He is actually well known in the classic car community. Good reputation treats his vehicles like gold. Your Camaro is currently in his garage at the farm. I got the exact address for you. He rattled off the location. I wrote it down on a napkin with a pen the waitress had left. Thanks, Tony. I owe you. You do not owe me anything, man. Go get your car back. That Saturday afternoon, I drove the rental out to Marcus's farm. The property was beautiful rolling hills and a white farmhouse with a big red barn. There were a few classic cars visible in the driveway, a '57 Thunderbird and what looked like a '48 Ford pickup truck. I found Marcus working on the pickup when I pulled in. He was about 50 years old, gray hair, wearing glasses, and a flannel shirt with the sleeves rolled up. He looked up as I approached, wiping his hands on a rag. "Help you with something?" he asked, friendly enough. "Mr. Peterman, my name is Ernest. I think you bought a car from my parents a couple weeks ago. A '69 Camaro SS. His eyebrows went up. "Oh yeah, beautiful machine. Come on, I will show you." He led me into the garage, and there she was. My Camaro sitting under the fluorescent lights, looking immaculate. Marcus had clearly taken good care of her. The paint gleamed. She looked even better than the day I had left for Montana. I stepped forward and put my hand on the hood. It was like touching an old friend I thought I had lost forever. My throat tightened, and I had to blink back tears. "Your folks said the car was theirs," Marcus said from behind me. "Is there a problem?" "It was mine," I said quietly. My hands still on the car. I built it from scratch. Bought it as a rusted shell when I was 19. Spent 5 years restoring every inch of it. Marcus was quiet for a moment. Then he said softly, "I can see it means a lot to you." I turned to face him. "I want to buy it back." He scratched his chin, thinking. "I just bought it 2 weeks ago for $18,000. It is a fair price for the condition, though honestly it is worth more. I already filed all the paperwork, got the title transferred. I will give you $22,000, I said immediately. That was the amount my parents claimed Kyle needed. I want him to know exactly what it cost me to fix his mistake. Marcus studied me for a long moment. "Kid, I can tell this car is part of your soul. But I paid cash, got everything legal and square. Tell you what, $25,000 is my bottom line. That covers what I paid, plus the time and hassle of doing the paperwork twice. $25,000. I had about $28,000 in my savings account money. I had carefully saved over 6 months of brutal work in Montana. Giving up that much would leave me almost broke. But this was my car, my blood, sweat, and tears. "Deal," I said. "Give me 3 days to arrange the money." Marcus smiled and stuck out his hand. "You got it, son." 3 days. We shook on it, and I left the farm feeling a tiny spark of hope for the first time since coming home. But I still had questions. Big questions. What exactly had Kyle needed $22,000 for? The story about dangerous debt collectors did not sit right with me. Something felt off. I called Tony again. "Can you dig deeper into Kyle? I need to know what he has been up to the last few months, what he has been spending money on. Everything." Tony hesitated. "Ernest, are you sure you want to know?" "Yes, I need to know the truth." "All right, give me 2 days." Those 2 days felt like 2 years. I barely slept. I kept thinking about my car, about my parents' faces, about Kyle. My older brother, who had always been the golden child, the one who could do no wrong in Mom and Dad's eyes. Meanwhile, I had been working since I was 16, paying my own way through community college, saving every penny to buy that Camaro shell and restore it. Nobody had ever handed me anything. Finally, Tony called. "Want to meet at the coffee shop on Main Street?" I was there in 15 minutes. Tony was already sitting in a corner booth, a manila folder on the table in front of him. His face was serious, no trace of his usual smile. "You are not going to like this," he said as I sat down. "Tell me." He opened the folder and spread out papers and printed screenshots. "Your brother did not owe money to dangerous people, Ernest. He gambled online, lost about $15,000 over 3 months. Poker sites, sports betting. The debts were real, but they were to credit card companies and the gambling sites themselves. Nobody was coming to threaten him. I felt my stomach drop. Then what about the other $7,000? Tony slid over a printed Instagram photo. Kyle grinning like an idiot next to a bright red jet ski on a trailer. $3,000 if I had to guess. Bought it the same week your parents sold your car. I stared at the photo, unable to breathe. My car, my 5 years of work, turned into a toy for Kyle. There is more, Tony said quietly. He pushed over another screenshot. Your brother has a new girlfriend. Her name is Jasmine. According to her social media, Kyle helped her pay off her credit card debt last month. She posted about it, thanking her generous boyfriend. That was probably another 4,000 or 5,000. I was shaking, my hands, my whole body trembling, with rage and heartbreak. They lied to me. All of them. There were no dangerous debt collectors. No threats. Just Kyle being Kyle, spending money. He did not have gambling it away, buying toys, impressing his girlfriend. And my parents believed him without question, and sold my car to bail him out. Tony reached across the table and put his hand on my shoulder. I am sorry, man. I pulled out my phone and called my parents' house. It rang 4 times before Mom picked up. Ernest, honey? Are you okay? My voice was ice. Did you know? Know what? Did you know? Kyle did not actually owe any dangerous people. Did you know he used that money to buy a jet ski and pay off his girlfriend's credit card bills? There was a long, terrible silence. Ernest, she started, but I cut her off. So you did not even verify his story. You just took his word for it and sold my car. I heard my father take the phone. Your brother needed help. That is what family does. We help each other. No, I said. That is what enablers do. You have been bailing Kyle out his whole life while I worked for everything I have. Every single thing. We raised you both the same way. I laughed bitterly. Did you? Because I do not remember you ever selling anything of Kyle's to help me. When I was 16, I had to work at the hardware store all summer to buy a laptop for school, while you bought Kyle one as a birthday gift. When I was 20, Kyle crashed his car, and you used money from my college fund to fix it. When I was 24, Kyle lost his job and moved back home, eating your food and using your electricity for free, while I had been living on my own since 18. You did not raise us the same dad. You just convinced yourself you did. Frank's voice rose. We did the best we could. I am buying my car back, I said quietly. And after that, I do not want to hear from any of you again. Ernest, please do not say that. We are family. Mom was crying again, her voice breaking. You made your choice when you sold my car without even asking me. Now I am making mine. I hung up and sat in the booth numb. Tony did not say anything. He just sat there with me while I stared at the photo of Kyle and his jet ski. The jet ski bought with my Camaro, with my 5 years of weekends and bloody knuckles and dreams. 3 days later, I drove to Marcus's farm with a cashier's check for $25,000. Nearly everything I had saved. Marcus was waiting for me with all the paperwork ready. We sat at his kitchen table while he walked me through the title transfer and bill of sale. I hope you do not mind, Marcus said as we finished up, but I changed the oil and checked the brakes when I first got her. Everything is running smooth. I looked at him, this stranger who had taken better care of my car in 2 weeks than my own family had in a lifetime. Thank you. Really. I mean it. He smiled and handed me the keys.